What's up, I'm PokerBrandon. This is my second session video. It consists of 8 significant hands during this weekday night, 5-hour session. I'm in for $300. What you didn't see is a table broke. I got my stack up to about 520 after a queens versus ace king flip. Anyway, here's the first hand I play at this table, and let's get right into the action. I look down at king 4 of spades. I'm on the button, I'm in position. I know some of these guys at the table, and I'm ready to make some moves. I like playing my ace rag, king rag suited hands because flush draws do come. I love making moves off of flush draws. It gives me more equity to make moves, and I opt to go ahead and play my position. I go ahead and make the call, thinking I might just be getting into a 1v1, but under the gun goes ahead and limps, and he's gonna make the call. Opponent took a long time to decide before he folded. Not sure why he was taking so long to my left. But anyway, we go 3 ways to a flop. So we go 3 ways to a flop, and flop is 5, 6, 8. Now with my 4 in my hand, I'm somewhat happy, but I'm not that happy. There's 1 spade out there. I'm not really hoping for 2 more spades, and I'm not gonna make a call of $20 for 2 more spades or for a 7, but I'm pretty okay with my position, and I'm pretty okay with making some moves right now. When I see a just call from low jack, I don't necessarily see strength. I don't see him having an 8 there because he likes to play for bigger pots when he has top pair, 2 pair, big hands, big draws. I'm somewhat feeling okay to call here. I do want to see a spade on the turn. I call to see a spade. I see if we're gonna spike a spade one time. It doesn't happen, but that 4 is calling my name. That 4 is making me feel like I got a chance, especially after seeing a check from under the gun. This is the first hand I've played at this table, and I know my image to low jack is relatively tight. I really haven't gotten in too many altercations where I'm making moves against this guy. If I'm betting, I usually have top pair or big pair. There was 1 hand a while back where I made a bet with top pair, and he called me down with middle pair. He hit middle pair on the river, called me all the way down 3 barrels, and got lucky. So I have a little bit of revenge to get this guy back. I would say that definitely played a part in making this call. When he bet this 60, I looked at him, and I tend to trust my reads. This guy doesn't wear glasses, no hoodie, no covering of the face. He just puts his face right out there for everybody to see. But I see some weakness. I know a call here is gonna look super strong, and I'm curious to see what he's gonna do on the river. And I feel like I can definitely take this down if the right card comes. The next card is a 5. That gives my hand pretty good showdown value, I feel. If he had 2 overs, he's gonna be very scared. He would check that. I'm already planning on what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna bet if he checks, but when he checks, I just really get the feeling by the face he made when he checked that he was really not good at all. Like, he was ready to just completely fold his hand. I took the safe route and checked back, and I ended up taking that down. He had the most confusing look on his face when I told him I had a 4. I guess he didn't think I would make that call. Okay, so this is the second significant hand at this session on a weekday night. My stack is about $671. I'm trying to become more accurate with that. This is only my second session video, so give me a break if I am a little bit off. I'm gonna try to be more accurate, but nevertheless, that's about right about where I'm at. So right here, I'm on the big blind. There's a low jack raised to $12. I look down at a jack of diamonds. I like looking down at one card, seeing some action, and when it comes back to me, I look at my next card. Anyway, There's 3 calls of 12. I'm on the big blind. I'm getting a discount. I would love to see these suited. Who wouldn't? I go ahead and make the call for $12, and we go 4 ways to a flop. Flop gives me 2 pair. You're always ecstatic, I feel, when you get your big blind special. This was one of them. I check it because I don't want to scream off any alarms, although a bet there definitely could have worked because that board doesn't really look too much like a big blind special. So I get a bet of 15 from low jack and a small blind raise. I know small blind, I know the way he plays. He's the type of guy that doesn't like big pre-flop pots. He will not go crazy with ace king or ace queen before the flop. He definitely had ace queen, ace king in his hand range at this point in time. That's what I put him on. And I put low jack on a smaller ace. Low jack also got involved in a hand where he lost the remaining of his $300 stack. He lost 200 of it earlier. So I expected him to be betting a lot light. Anyway, I come to the conclusion here that I want to go heads up all in with low jack, but I want to raise this enough so that small blind definitely has trouble making a call. And if he does have ace jack, he has to call and he has to play back at me, and he might even raise. But he lets it go, he shows an ace, and I end up going heads up happily with low jack. I show the jack 8-2 pair, he doesn't show his hand. I'm feeling really good, I'm feeling excellent. Worried about ace deuce ace 3 maybe, but he shows ace 8. Wow. So I get cooled out of my $100. It feels so disgusting when money is just sucked out of your stack after you feel like you flopped the lottery and it never works out your way. I always hate that feeling. It's never gonna get easy, it's never gonna feel good. That's pretty much how my stack slowly dwindles down from 520 to 475. I keep getting involved in these little miss-kicker pots. Here's the next hand, and let's see what happens. So I look down at 5-8 of clubs and I raise it up to $15 to give my hand some sneaky hidden messages. The button calls and blinds get out, so I'm really happy to see my 5-8. I'm happy to go heads up, and 6 ace 5 comes. Not too happy because aces are anti-player buttons calling range. I check it to him, but he checks back. Now after he checks back, I narrow out the aces out of his range. I just feel like he definitely would have bet that with those 2 flush spades there. So I'm actually feeling pretty good about my hand at this point. I want some value, and I go ahead and put out a little value bet, $15. But he raises me. Now after looking at this guy, I just get a huge sense that he knows that I don't have an ace, and he thinks this min raise is gonna get me off of my bluff. He knows I'm bluffing, but he doesn't know that I'm PokerBrandon, and he doesn't know that I will play back, and I don't have one barrel under my sleeve. I have multiple. So I make this call and float. Ace hits on the river, and as I'm sitting here, I'm noticing that $95 in the pot. I'm looking at this player. If he has an ace and he played it this way, I'm gonna pay him off right now. I just don't think he has it. And because I'm PokerBrandon and this guy wants to play back at me, I test him out. I put out a huge overbet, an obvious bluff bet of 200, and he immediately runs away. And I get the job done with 5-8 of clubs.
+1.
So what you're not seeing is that I'm playing a couple of hands. I'm getting a couple of bad kicker beats where we both have top pair and I just have one less kicker, and my stack is going up and down, and I hate when I'm getting out kicked multiple times. It definitely puts me on tilt, but I just keep playing my game and I keep hoping things are gonna work out. Poker is always gonna have that bad luck, but so if you see my stack up and down between these hands and between these significant hands I'm playing for this video, that's why. Anyway, I'm on the straddle here. There's a very small raise. I get a discount on a call with Jack 5 offsuit, so I go ahead and make the call. Flop is exactly what I needed. Ace 5 Jack, rainbow. I check it with some intentions to check raise. I check it with some intentions to let some people hang themselves. I get one guy who's offering to hang himself. I'm figuring out how I'm gonna get the most value here with Jack 5. Now this player, he will make some folds. He will lay it down when he senses some strength. I don't want to scare him away, so I just go ahead and make the call. Next card is a pretty safe 7. Pretty safe 7. I go into a thought process on how I'm gonna get some more money. I check it to him, but he does not bet. So immediately 2 pairs roll out of his range. All sets leave his range. The only thing he really has here is probably a weak ace. It's the only thing he would bet. Otherwise, he was just taking a stab at it with air, in which case I'm not gonna get any money anyway from him. But if he did have an ace, I need to get some money out of that ace. I figure half the pot, roughly, is gonna get a call with a weak ace. Why wouldn't you make the call with an ace? If I get raised here, I'm gonna be put in a situation where I wanna vomit, but it's just super likely right now. He has an ace. I feel it. I think he knows he was beat here. He had a good sense that an ace was not good enough. I doubt he would call me with less. I doubt he would call me with the king here. But he makes the call. I take out some value from his stack, and I show him the 2 pair. He mucks his hand, and I win this pot. Okay, so 5th hand of this session, I look down at 1, 2, and then I see another 2. There's a limp, there's a raise from a guy who's been super quiet, very, very quiet. This is the first raise he's made in about an hour. So this guy actually could have aces right here. But I could hit a set, so I opt to continue and play. The one guy I'm worried about in this hand is +1. Flop is king, ace, jack, and that has +1's range just written all over his face. I'm expecting to see a bet here. He checks it, and honestly, I just feel like he has a set. I just feel like it's a monster. 6 of diamonds comes. I have 2 2s, which is pretty much nothing. Big blind checks. Under the gun, I have seen him take stabs at pots with middle pair and weak pairs. +1 folds immediately. And at this point in time, these pocket 2s are starting to look like 2 jokers. And just like a phone scammer fishing for your credit card information, I go ahead and call with some devious intentions. So my opponent checks, and I've seen all that I need to see to continue my story. If my opponent would have put out a blocker bet, I don't know what I would have done in the situation. You know, I probably would have done the same as what I'm about to do actually. So I check in between my pants and I make sure I have 2 big nuts there. As long as I do, I'm gonna go ahead and represent the nuts on the table. I measure out what I think is about the right amount to where I would have bet this exact same amount if I was holding any kind of a 10. There's 2 bricked flush draws out there. If he has one, he's gonna have a tough time making this call. I go ahead and put out $150 as a slight over bet up to the pot to represent a 10 here. My heart is pounding in my chest as I'm watching this player look at me. He actually smiles a bit. I'm not sure what to think of it, but then he throws his hand away. Maybe I caught him bluffing with air. Either way, his air had to have been better than mine. Maybe. Okay, so 6th hand of the session, I look down at a king of diamonds. Keep in mind here, under the gun's gonna bet $15 to open this up. He's been buying in for $100, that's the minimum at this table, and then he likes flipping all in. He's done it twice and lost, and that's the type of player he is. He showed ace-jack one time for a flip loss. I'm happy to flip with him. I'm happy to flip with him with pocket kings. I raise it up to 30 to isolate, and something interesting happens. Button over here is the big stack. I think he's won that money with the set, and he's also only shown ace queen and ace king. He's only played about 5 hands in about 2 hours. I'm definitely feeling like he has ace queen in this situation. Under the gun there goes all in for 100. I'm starting to feel like he has an ace as well. Now, because they both have an ace right now in my head, I am super, super ecstatic. This is the perfect opportunity to win a lot more money by just calling this and keeping the button in the game. I go ahead and just call, and I'm really hoping that button makes the call. Button does something pretty interesting. No, he doesn't raise, but he calls what he thought was $80. The dealer says it's not 80, it's 100. So he fixes his call, and then he calls it in. When he called the just 80, I really feel even more that this is not aces here. He didn't think it was that big of a pot, and I'm really feeling like he has ace-queen suited. But the board is ace-queen 6. Now, this doesn't really make sense to me in my brain right now. I'm holding pocket kings, so I really don't think he has ace-king. I put him on ace-queen, but ace-queen hit the board. I'm starting to feel right now that he has pocket jacks, specifically pocket jacks, maybe pocket tens. Anyway, I throw out a tester bet of $50. I throw this out to get jacks out of the way. I don't think he's the type of guy to play back at me with jacks, knowing I'm making a blocker bet. It's also a nice little side pot starter bet. If I did have a hand like ace king, I would definitely make the same bet. And he makes the call here. Now I'm starting to feel like he has pocket queens. I really don't feel like he has jacks. But there is a chance he may have called that with jacks. There is a chance he may have called that with king, queen. But I really don't know where I'm at right now. Under the gun's supposed to have an ace. Button is supposed to have an ace. The ace on the flop just really confuses me so much. I don't feel like I'm bad right here. I feel like he may have called that. Maybe I bet too low and he may have called that with pocket jacks. I throw in one more blocker. I figure $75 is enough to get the job done. But he shoves all in. Immediately, I'm disappointed. I can't believe I'm this unlucky. I know he has an ace at this point. I just hate the fact that an ace came. River's an ace. He shows ace king, and under the gun also shows an ace. I was completely right about the situation, but somehow all 4 aces end up playing on this board and with these players while I'm holding kings. This is like the most unlucky situation I've ever felt. I totally set myself up to win super huge on this situation. And I just felt like the poker gods were like, I don't care how good you are at setting yourself up for success. I'm going to take it all away. And it felt super tilty. At this point, this hand, I wanted to include this because this was a hand where I felt extremely tilty about the situation previously. I couldn't get over it. I was fidgeting a lot. I don't understand how the odds brought out all 4 aces into the action while I was holding kings. It just felt like I was completely set up by the gods of poker. Anyway, I was happy not to lose my whole stack in that situation. I'm not sure if that player would have called the flip. But let's talk about this next hand. I'm holding ace-7 suited. You saw that. I was on the straddle, and I got a discount to see this flop. Flop is not that bad. And when you're tilting, this flop looks really amazing. This flop looked amazing to me when I saw it. So, new player bets $35. He's a new player. He might have that new player urge to put money in the pot because he just sat down. And on top of being tilted, I'm a little bit upset that new player came in and just immediately took up all the table space, all the arm space, and sat down like he was one of the guys sitting here for 4 or 5 hours and deserves all that space. So I'm a little bit tilted. I'm a little bit upset at him. And I'm going to see what he does. I want to see how he plays. And I'm going to make this call. Hijack calls as well. And there goes Button throwing in all his money again on another flip. This is probably about the 4th or 5th time he's done this. And now I'm feeling pretty stupid. I don't mind that he only has $105 as an all-in. But I'm hating that I called this money on a gut shot and a backdoor. It's possible my 1 over may be good enough, but with 2 callers in there, I didn't feel that good. So Original Razor gets out. I was right about him really not having much, I guess. I make the call because it's only $70 more, and the pot odds are somewhat okay, even though I'm like 1-4, 1-3 right now. The board does not help me. The board does not help me again. And to make matters worse, Button shows my outs as his hand. So I got $100 in with probably one of the worst out systems I've had. And it makes me even more angry at myself. But this is somewhat where I calibrate just a little bit. So this session is starting to feel like a complete waste of time. I look down at 3 of diamonds. I have $270 in front of me, and I'm now down $30 after about 5 hours of playing, maybe 5.5 hours of playing. I'm pretty upset. I just feel like money has just been sucked out of my stack. I tilted away another couple hundred, and I'm just pretty pissed at myself, but the important thing I'm trying to do is not go too crazy. I see pocket 3s. I still have my moves in my back pocket. I make the call here. I could definitely hit a set, and my gut feeling told me that I'm due for a set. I really felt it coming. Maybe I was tilting. Who knows? We get 1, 2, 3, 4 callers, and then there's a raise from the man who has just tripled up on a flip, and he makes it $65. His raises really are not premium. They could be ace jack, ace 10 suited. I've already seen that twice. So I'm somewhat ready to fold right here. I might make a call if one guy makes the call. That's what I tell myself. Hijack makes the call. At this point now, I'm not going to push all my money in with threes. I'm not that tilted, but I'm still willing to lose another 50 if that's the case. So I go ahead and make the call, hoping nobody shoves behind me. Otherwise, I'm probably going to throw up on the table. I still can't get the pocket kings hand off my mind, but I'm trying not to think about it. I'm trying not to think that I was already up about $300 and I should have walked away, and now I'm down, and now I'm putting more money in on these threes. But I feel like my run good time is on. You know, I've been running pretty bad. Sometimes when you run bad consistently, you start to feel like, okay, your run good time is going to happen. Anyway, I'm hoping and praying for a three, and voila, I flop a three. I'm super ecstatic right now. I'm jumping up and down inside. My heart is pounding inside of my chest. I'm really not liking that 8 jack and those 2 hearts. And I'm definitely not minding, though, the all-in from +1. I'm super hoping he just has an overpair. I really hope he just has aces or kings in his hand, queens too. My heart is still beating in my chest as I'm watching all this happen. I really can't believe that I overcalled $65 pre-flop to hit this set. I feel super lucky right now. Now, I told you earlier that these hands and these videos, I want to include a lot of my bad videos and my bad outcomes so that you guys can see that bad outcomes happen to people even when they flop sets. Anyway, I go ahead and make this call, and I'm somewhat in a point where I really don't mind if Big Blind makes the call as well. If he does make the call and they both have heart draws, I would love that. I would definitely love that. If they both have straight draws, I would love that as well. They have each other's outs. So I really don't care if he calls or doesn't call. He makes the call. We go 3 ways all in. My heart's pounding in my chest. Next card is a 9 of hearts. And after I see that 9 of hearts, time really freezes, the way it's freezing right now for you in this video. I'm literally feeling like my heart is sinking into my chest. I can't believe that I'm getting all my money sucked out of me. I made the most amazing, luckiest call with these threes to see the set on the board. I get immediately by the turn, and I'm just somewhat crying inside of my head. I can't help but feel that I'm praying and hoping for the board to pair. I really need some help. If you like these session videos, subscribe so I know you like them. Let me know in the comments that you like these videos so I will keep making more. Anyway, river, you're not going to believe it.
Oh, yes.
If you listen closely, you could hear the nervousness in my voice as I gave out the most awkward celebration yell. I'm super happy that I actually hit quads. I was praying for the board to pair, and I was super surprised to see that my 4th 3 hit the board, and I'm feeling super amazing right now. I had a gut feeling about these threes when I looked down at them pre-flop. You're not supposed to play poker and go off of your gut feelings, but somehow I can't help but feel that maybe there's some truth to your gut feelings in poker. It was either that, or I was just on tilt thinking that every hand was going to be my next lucky hand. Either way, I'm super happy that I got my money in pre-flop. I'm super happy that I got my money in on the flop. And now that turn doesn't really look so bad anymore. Anyway, this is going to end my weekday session here on a Thursday night. I have work the next morning. You're not really supposed to hit and run, so I stay. I play a little bit more. I lose a little bit after this, but I'm really happy about this session. It was a 5-hour session. I was in for $300. I end up walking out for $836 on PokerBrandon. If you're having bad luck at the table, just keep playing your game, and your luck and your run good is definitely going to come back to you. Keep being solid. Don't go on tilt. Don't make bad decisions, and good luck.